In the previous video tutorials from Dashboard in WinForms series, we've built the charts and the oval gauge that you see. This one will show you how to build the rectangular gauges. Here is the dashboard code so far. We add a new linear gauge renderer variable. Note that we have a set of predefined colors for the dashboard. We will use them for the linear gauge as well. We create a new linear gauge and set its background to dark blue, which is represented by the background class variable. We set the stroke to the same color. The pointer stroke is cream color. It should be in contrast with the background. We set the pointer and tick background brushes to blue as well. Now let's copy the border component that is used to frame all components of the dashboard. We copy it from the oval gauge and change its row to 2. Let's adjust the margins. The content is the linear gauge. Now if we run the sample, we should be able to see the gauge. And here it is. The align doesn't look good. We need more space to the top and no space to the bottom. Now we are going to customize the scale. The scale is the UI element that shows the percents. If we look at the online documentation, we can see that each gauge has a collection of scales. The linear scale has plenty of properties. We will definitely use min value and max value, and we will set them to very small numbers. That's because we want the label format to be %, and % formatting multiplies the data by a factor of 100. So we get the first and only scale in the scales collection of the gauge. We set its min value to 0.05 and the max value to 0.5. We also increase the start and end width of the gauge. We want to make it thicker. In our case, we use the same value, 20, which is of type length. Here is our gauge with updated scale. Each scale has pointers. The pointer is this element that, well, points the current value on the gauge. By default, the scale has one pointer. We access it to set its value and apply some customization. We set the pointer shape to be needle and we specify its bounding rectangle. You can experiment with the different pointer shapes available, as well as draw your own pointer if you want. Now we are going to customize the ticks on the scale. There are three properties for that: minor, middle, and major tick settings. All of them are instances of their respective class with plenty of options to be customized. So, we access the major tick settings property of our scale and set the count of ticks to 5. The tick shape is rectangle. The ticks are 24 units wide. The height is 2 units. The label foreground is the color used to draw the labels. It is cream. The label rotation specifies the location of your ticks along the scale. There are different label location options available, and we recommend you try them to see how they work and choose the appropriate one. Our gauge looks better now. Let's deal with the middle tick settings. By default, the minor tick settings are not drawn. You should explicitly specify that you want to render them. The middle tick settings are an instance of a class with the same name. We will use several of the properties to adjust the appearance of our scale. First, we hide the labels. We set the count of ticks to 5 again and the tick shape to line. The tick alignment is inner inside. Again, you'd better experiment with the alignment options and see what works for you. Finally, the fill is the same as the background color. Here is our scale. It looks lovely, but we can further enhance its looks by adding a range. A range is a separate class and is drawn along the scale. We are going to add a range to our scale. Let's look at the gauge samples for the library for examples. Here we have a range that spans over the entire gauge scale. In the thermometer gauge, we have a triangular yellow range rendered only at the top. We will add a range over our gauge to indicate the increase in production defects. So, we create a new range and set its min and max values to be the same as those of the scale. The alignment is true center. It will be drawn in the absolute middle of the scale. Its width and height are the same as well. We want the range to cover the scale. The fill is a gradient brush from pale pink to darker red. Finally, we add the range to the ranges collection of the scale. Our gauge renders with the scale now. Let's remove the space before the percent sign on the labels. The gauge looks almost finished. What we have left is the label under it, as you can see in the final dashboard. Let's add it. We create a new text object, which is one of the controls that can be added to a dashboard. We set the alignment and line alignment of the text. Its content is a string. The foreground is cream, that is the color of the text. The font is bold. The size is 16 and is relative. Finally, we can add the text to the Scale Children collection of the linear scale. Now we can see our finished gauge. The other gauge is identical, so we will just paste the code for it. We declare a new linear gauge renderer and use it for the second gauge. Now we will create a vertical stack panel. The stack panel is one of the layout panels that can be used by dashboards. We add the two gauges to its children collection. We set the content of the border to be the stack panel. Here are our two gauges in the stack panel. With that, our video tutorial is finished. Next time we will build the image component that stays in the middle, as well as the dot control that hosts all elements of the dashboard. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your interest in MindFusion Developer Tools.